Hi, this is Alex Fernandez with Bud and Doug Walters Auto Sales in Kalamazoo, Michigan. Today I'll be doing a video demonstrating the features on the inside of this 2016 GMC Sierra SLE. We'll start by talking about the touchscreen and some of the features we can use through that. We'll then move down to the climate control and some of the buttons just below, and then we'll work our way over talking about the steering wheel, the stalks, our four-wheel drive controls, window switches, and some of the switches just up above us here. Coming back to the screen, you'll see a handful of icons on the screen right now. The page that we're looking at is the home page, which we'd access just that house icon right there. Down below, you'll notice we have audio, where we would go to listen to the radio, CD, Bluetooth, etc. We have phone, where we would go to pair up a hands-free device with Bluetooth for hands-free calling. We have projection, which allows us to use Android Auto and Apple CarPlay. And lastly, one of the primary features at the top there is the navigation, which this vehicle does have built-in navigation as well. We're going to start by going into the audio tab here. And you'll see when we open that, it's going to open whatever it is we're listening to. In this case, it's FM radio. If you wanted to change the station, we have a couple different ways of doing so. We have seek buttons down below here. We have seek buttons up on the screen. We have a keypad, which we're able to punch the station in directly. And lastly, we have the tuning dial just there. Along the bottom of our screen are the presets. To set a preset, simply press and hold when you're on the station that you'd like to save and wait for it to put it in that slot. You'll notice we have radio and media buttons here as well as down below. Pressing either one of those, whether on the screen or the physical button, performs the same function. Pressing the radio button will cycle us through AM, FM, and satellite, and pressing media would let us access CD, Bluetooth, auxiliary, whatever's available other than the radio. Browse button here allows us to open up a list of FM stations in the area. Scroll through and pick them right off of the list. And then you'll notice we have a menu button, which is also a physical version down below. We have settings for the audio, so tone settings. This is bass, treble, mid-range, fade and balance, high definition radio, looking through different categories of radio. Those things are in the menu there. Going back to our home page, we'll go to phone here real quick. Right now there are no phones paired, so you'll see nothing entered right now other than the option to pair a device. To add a phone, simply press pair device and then open the Bluetooth settings on your compatible phone and walk through the setup process there. That will allow you to sync up your contacts, your call histories, and allow you to make and receive phone calls in the vehicle hands-free. Back to our home page, that projection icon there is where we would access Android Auto and Apple CarPlay. Those are programs that run on their respective smartphones, Android or Apple. And you plug the device into the truck using a USB cable, and you're able to access things like your favorite Maps app, Google Maps, Apple Maps, Waze, music and podcasts, phone calls, and text messages, all right on the screen of the truck here. And you're able to interact with all of that through voice commands, so you're hands-free as well. Going to navigation, when we press that nav icon, it's going to take us to a map view. It's just showing us our current location. If we want to enter a destination, we'll press that right down at the bottom there. And then we have a couple different options on how we can plug that in. We can go address, and that'll give us a template to fill in, choosing the state, the city, the street, and the house number. We could also search by an intersection if you don't have an exact address, or we could search points of interest if you're looking for restaurants or gas stations or things of that nature. Going back to the home page, on the bottom row we have a couple of icons. We have settings, which allows us to change some things such as time and date, language, radio settings, vehicle settings. We have Pandora, which does require the phone to be connected and running the app on the phone first. It's similar to Bluetooth audio, but just a bit more specific interface designed specifically for Pandora. We have Weather, which is a subscription-based service that's offered through the SiriusXM TravelLink subscription. If the smartphone that's paired with Bluetooth supports it, we also have the option to receive texts while in the truck. The truck will read them out to you. And then we have OnStar, which is GM's subscription-based service, for which we also have buttons just up above there. And the last thing is traffic, which does go off of that navigation info that we have. Moving down from there, we have the climate control, which is dual zone. We have driver and passenger temperatures here. Simply rotate the dial clockwise for warmer temperatures, counterclockwise for colder. Right in the middle, we have our fan speed. You'll see as I change that, it does display on the screen, so we're able to see what's happening and being changed. Within the driver's side dial, we have an auto button that allows the user to simply set their temperature, and then the vehicle will take care of the fan speed, the location of the vents, and everything else for you. We have air conditioning and recirculate modes here. We have the 4 different vent locations around our fan speed dial. In the middle of the fan speed dial, we have a power button for the climate control. To the right here, we have our front defroster and our rear defroster. And lastly, we have a sync button in that in the passenger side temperature control dial that allows the 2 zones to be paired together and gives the driver control of both. If the passenger would like a different temperature, simply change the temperature and they will no longer be paired together. This truck is also equipped with the heated cloth seats. You'll see driver's side and passenger side here. They have a setting for the seat back and the seat bottom all together, and we have a button for just the seat back alone. Down below we have a switch to turn off the traction control, which is on by default. We have a switch to turn on the lights on the back of the cab pointing into the bed, and we have hill descent control, which is just designed to help you regulate speed driving down a steeper grade. Underneath there is a small storage cubby, as well as a 12-volt outlet here for charging a device or plugging in something like a GPS or anything like that. We also have some charging ports inside of the console armrest here. We have 2 USB ports, an auxiliary port, and another 12-volt outlet. Looking at our steering wheel, we have a control pad here and some buttons for our voice commands for hands-free calling and the option to hang up or decline an incoming phone call. The control pad here on the wheel is going to let us interact with the screen and the gauge cluster here. We can scroll up and down through this information, and if we click to the left, we have info, audio, phone, navigation, and options. We push the check mark on that control pad to move through those different options, depending on what information you'd like to display. To reset any values, whether they be a trip value or an average, simply hold down on the check mark there until the values are reset. On the back side of the wheel, there are 2 buttons that control the volume of the audio, just an up and a down switch basically to interact with the volume. On the left side of the steering wheel, we have our cruise control. We have an on-off switch just there, which would toggle the cruise on and off. Once you're up to speed, push set to set the speed. Once your speed is set, push the plus sign to accelerate, the minus sign to decelerate, and you can tap your brakes or press cancel there if need be, and then you'd be able to press resume to come back up to the initially set speed. On the back side of the left of the wheel, there are the same types of buttons on the right side, but they interact with skipping a track if we were listening to CD or Bluetooth, or skipping through your presets if we're listening to the radio. On the shifter here, we have a trailer tow mode button right on the end, and we have manual gear change control, the plus and minus sign there. We simply put the vehicle past drive into M for manual to enable that. On the left side of the steering wheel here, we have our brights, our blinkers, and our windshield wipers. For the windshield wipers, simply rotate downward for a single swipe and rotate away from you to increase the speed. For the spray for the front, we'll simply kind of grab that tab there and rotate that, and that will do the spray for the front windshield. Our brights, we push away to turn on, pull towards to flash, and blinkers function as normal. To our left here, we have our controls for our 4-wheel drive and our headlights. Both are a dial and both actually have an automatic setting. Talking about the four-wheel drive first. Right now we're in two-wheel high, which is what you'll drive around in most of the time when the weather's not inclement. We also have an auto mode, which will let the truck switch between two-wheel drive and four-wheel drive depending on the traction terrain conditions. We have a full-time four-wheel drive high, and then we have four-wheel drive low, which you would use in a more off-road scenario, not on dry roads or anything like that. Down below we have our headlight controls, which they are automatic. They're in that position right now, but we're able to toggle that auto control on and off. We're also able to select the headlights being on manually. If we push right in the middle of that dial, we do have fog lights on this truck as well. And those will link up to the automatic headlights and turn on when it's dark enough out and turn off when it's bright. Just to the left here, we have a little scroll wheel, which is used to adjust the brightness of the backlighting for all the gauges and the screen inside here. Looking at our door, we have window locks, child locks for the rear doors, window switches, our door locks, our mirror adjustment control pad for the mirror adjustments there. Up above us, this truck is equipped with HomeLink, which is a programmable garage door system, so you don't have to have your remote in the truck any longer. And this truck is also equipped with an aftermarket sunroof, and the controls for that are just there in the middle. And we have a switch for the dome lights to tell them to turn on when the doors are opened and shut off when the doors are closed. And then we have switches to turn those dome lights on and off there. And lastly, a little case for glasses just behind. Those are the primary features of this 2016 GMC Sierra. If you have any other questions, please refer to us at waltersautos.com or feel free to call at 269-375-7008 with any questions or to set up an appointment. Thank you.